The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated.
Welcome back to the Nova Society. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, and I'm here with my favorite panel and yours, Dr. Mark Bound and Dr. Scott Gershwer. Today we will be answering listener emails, and we have a question from Raymond, who lives in Louisiana. Who lives in Louisville, Kentucky. Goodness.
And Raymond Louisiana, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Louisville, Kentucky, wow. Louisiana.
Yeah. Wow, I really made a mistake there. Sorry, Raymond. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville. And Raymond asks, so I know the shutdown is big news right now, and I was looking at some dates that might make Republicans a little nervous. This Tuesday, the air traffic controllers will miss their first paycheck. The military is set to miss their checks on October 31st, unless some other anonymous, in quotes, donor comes through, which I'd also like to hear your take on the legality and legitimacy of that little maneuver. And of course, some off-year elections are set for November 4th. And Obama premiums increase, and SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is toast on November 1st. Have we reached a time where Republicans might start to think in terms of not supporting Trump to save their own jobs back home? And as far as the off-year elections on November 4th, I understand that there are actually 52,000 off-year elections across the country. So everyone do check your local elections, 52,000. Local elections, that's not a small number. So see where you can get out and vote and make a difference in your own local elections and your own local governance. And so what do we think? Will Republicans get a little nervous, or are they all going to say, oh, it's all the Democrats' fault, it's all Biden's fault, we didn't do anything, it's their fault?
Well, if they're not getting nervous, they should. I mean, we look at some of the town halls that are being held. Those are getting kind of brutal. And yes, you're right, Brooklyn. There are a bunch of elections. I mean, right now they're talking about the New York City mayor. They're talking about the governor of Virginia and the governor of New Jersey as being the big ones. But here in my county, we have a special election for the sheriff, because our last sheriff got busted by the feds stealing money and drugs. So he's out after 20 some odd years, and stealing from the Police Benevolence Fund. And yeah, mostly it's school boards here, but they're not inconsequential. These are not inconsequential. The school board's important. Do you want a school board that's going to ban books or not? So you got to think in those terms. But as far as these dates, and now this was written last week, Tuesday, the air traffic controllers, that was yesterday for us. That's when that happened. And yes, the military, the 31st, which is this Friday, 2 days from now, they're supposed to miss their paychecks again. We'll get back to the anonymous donor thing. We'll hit that last, I think. And yeah, I think that when people start seeing these premiums for their insurance, for Obamacare, go up the way they're being projected and going up, and SNAP. I know that at a bunch of meetings, I know even the governor of South Carolina, Henry McMaster, who is as Republican as Republicans can get, basically was on and saying, you know what, if you've got the capacity, please donate to food banks. That was a huge theme that he put out there. Please go donate to food banks. Donate. Our Rotary Club meeting was yesterday on Tuesday. And one of the things and again, these are community leaders in this Rotary Club, big club here in biggest club in all of South Carolina is from Spartanburg. And the message was, let's take a challenge. Let's give either money or food to your church, whatever food bank you can find. So they realize the issue that this SNAP being gone could cause. And yeah, the fact is that when you got Henry McMaster, the governor of South Carolina, getting on TV and saying, listen, we got to come together. We need to donate food to food banks to help these people. There's a guy that probably would not disagree with Trump at all, but realizes how bad this SNAP going away is going to be for the people of South Carolina. And South Carolina is one of those funny states. There are the very wealthy and there are the very poor. Your middle class is kind of not, there isn't a lot of middle class. A lot of old money in South Carolina. A lot of old poverty also exists in South Carolina. And I'm sure North Carolina is the same, and Georgia. But so these benefits that we're talking about, these increases that's being caused by this shutdown, they're going to impact a large portion of the population. And as I say, when you've got the Republican governor of South Carolina coming out and making an appeal on television to support these food banks, he thinks there's a real problem coming down the stretch.
Both where I am in New York, Governor Hochul, and I believe also Minnesota, Tim Walz, the governor, have announced emergency funds going out to, I think, to food banks or to help cover SNAP because it's ending, as we know, and that's been a great concern. I mean, my community here, my county, is not terribly wealthy. I mean, there are some lovely homes and whatnot, but by and large, this is not a wealthy area. And I saw when I did errands yesterday, actually my first individual in the Walmart parking lot in a camper with a generator living in the parking lot. And I'm really hoping that no one is going to bother that person. And I'm surprised that there's only one camper there. So I'm anticipating that we're going to see, the American public, are going to see more of that. And of course, that's been made illegal. But I'm hopeful, as I said, that no one's going to bother this person. And so many individuals who are, Trump says, well, people can go hungry. We're talking about children. And we're talking about seniors, and we're talking about people who are disabled as well, who are going to be going without food.
I mean, we know that people who work for Walmart, for example, and work 40 hours a week, sometimes have to rely on SNAP benefits to cover the shortfall that they have in being able to buy food for their family. In my state of Connecticut, there are 360,000 residents who rely on SNAP. I think most of them probably seniors, but also, poorer people. Governor Lamont has announced that he's allocated $3 million to help curb the negative impact of that. And the money is going to Connecticut Food Share, which stocks food pantries and things like that. So, we're seeing different responses, I guess, to these things, but everybody seems to be on board with, like, we have to take care of our people, except for the federal government. And I think you have to blame the Republican Congress, along with the President of the United States, who really has shown that he doesn't really care about people. He's more impressed with leaders and oligarchs and things like that. And I think that brings us to our anonymous donor problem, because I think the anonymous donor thing is a really, really frightening development in the United States.
Yes, I agree. And just to clarify, here in South Carolina, 10.6% of the residents of South Carolina are on SNAP and rely on SNAP. And yes, I know Holcomb said in New York and Walz in Minnesota, but they're Democrats. Henry McMaster, this was a bit of a Republican thing to do, but he recognized, especially when 11%, and I'm going to guarantee you probably over half of that 11% voted for Trump. But when it comes to the anonymous donor, I don't even know about the legality of that.
There's no mechanism for it.
There's no mechanism for it. My question is, who'd you pay it to? Who decided? Now, the government shut down and the Congress controlled the purse strings. Who made the decision to say, okay, this money is going to the military? Wasn't it Congress, obviously? So who exactly, how did this work? How did it get into that account? How was it justified to put it into that account to pay the military? Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have been paid. Absolutely not saying that. But it is a little strange when you think about mechanisms. How did this happen? I mean, how did this work? And I honestly, I don't think it's legal.
No, it's not legal.
I don't think it's legal.
It's not, because the executive is supposed to carry out the laws that Congress has determined upon, and the House controls the purse strings. And Johnson, of course, is the most flabby. The Republicans need to be stopping this. I mean, the money has been allocated. Trump, presumably, he's the one who said, well, I won't spend it for this and I won't spend it for that, but ICE is getting paid and they're getting overtime, right? The House is the one who needs to stop this, and the Senate as well. I mean, Congress in general, and they're doing nothing.
Yeah, but I guess, again, I guess my question is, again, about the procedure of the whole thing. So I have $100 million. And Scott is a general in the Army.
You do?
And
can I be
you can't have
assistant?
it. No.
You can be a colonel.
I want to be in charge of the horse stable.
So anyway, I go to the President of the United States, or whoever I go to. I don't even know who you go to. I'm assuming you got to go to the only person that's open, which is the President of the United States. I go to him and I say, you know what? I think Scott's a brilliant, patent-like. I think he's brilliant. I want to give him $1 million. I want you to add that to his paycheck.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt, more like it. Yeah. Mystery Science Theater 3000. But anyway, I want to give him I don't think you could do that. So my question is okay, $130 million is, I guess, what was paid into this. So $130 million, who'd you give it to? And how did they get it? How did they get it in the account to make the payment? Oh, and by the way, $130 million. In a paper
bag,
maybe, it could very well be marked bills. Who knows? $130 million. And if my math is right, and it could be very wrong, that equates to $100 per member of the military. So you gave them $100.
Yeah.
So that's
each. Correct.
So that's not a lot when you really think about it.
It's nothing.
That ain't going to buy you a lot at the local commissary. So I don't know.
One of my all-time favorite movies is Kelly's Heroes.
Oh yeah,
Clint Eastwood and Telly Savalas and Don Rickles and Donald Sutherland is a great movie. This is like Mellon's Heroes. He's decided to buy himself a military, and he's going to pay $130 million to buy himself a military, and he can go, and he said, Donald, my military is ready and waiting to go to war wherever I decide that it's going to go to war, wherever Timothy Milton's best interests lay, send my heroes out and do that. No, there's another $130 million for them, but they come back. The whole thing is just so stupid. It's like oligarchy for one thing, right?
Yes.
There was a politician, I want to say a crooked politician, but it's probably generous, named Meade Esposito in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, when I was growing up, he was friends with my dad, mom. They liked him very, very much. He was the political boss of Brooklyn, and he was like a 5'3" Italian guy, dressed to the nines, with a big hat and a overcoat, and he would have a giant cigar in his mouth all the time. And he would get up and he would point people out that he knew in the crowd and say, how much are you gonna contribute to the new ambulance? How much are you gonna, and get people to donate money so that the volunteer ambulance corps could have a new ambulance and stuff like that. And nobody could turn him down because he was the power broker. He was the guy who made the lawyers judges and made the teachers principals and, controlled all the mechanisms. We don't want that system. That was Brooklyn in the 1970s. We don't want the United States to become like that.
Are you saying we don't want Tammany Hall?
Yeah, we don't want Tammany Hall, exactly. But this is a long way to go, Brooke, for you just say Mike Johnson is a spineless piece of shit. And I think one thing that struck me, I saw this the other day. I don't know if the speech was the other day, but Trump just recently apparently said, we passed a really big bill, so we don't have to do anything for the next 4 years, so Congress can just go home.
I heard that.
Okay,
we don't need
and so that was recent. Like I saw it recently. I didn't know if it was a recent quote, because he does say a lot of stuff. And I thought to myself, what a great thing. He's going to send Congress home. Now they can do away with the middlemen. Instead of rich people paying off congressmen, they could just donate the money directly to the federal government and have Trump as the head oligarch decide where it goes. I mean, this buys into the whole rentier state theory that I have about where our country is headed right now and how these really, really wealthy people are going to control it. And I heard some politician on the radio yesterday talking about Social Security and Medicare. And all I can think, if somebody says to you, do you have any plan to save, let's say, Social Security? And not one of them will say, yeah, raise taxes on the wealthiest people in the country and we can pay the whole thing. Well, it's all paid for. All we have to do is raise the cap, which hasn't been raised since I think 1971 on Social Security, and we can fund everybody and give Social Security benefits up the wazoo to people who work their whole lives and now have nothing and are struggling to get by on Social Security and not much else. Just an amazing idea that we're going to go through this. I don't even know what to call it, to turn our government into, a one-man show with a lot of donors who want something, ponying up $130 million to this guy is nothing. And as Mark pointed out, it pays for nothing, accomplishes nothing. But it seems like there's enough dumb people out there who think that this is a really good thing. Look what Trump has done for our country. He's gotten the rich people to start paying off our military so we don't have to anymore. Just crazy stuff.
And it also has the benefit of, if anybody objects to it, of, oh, you don't want our military to be paid.
Right. Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with that. And then of course you wind up, or the person who says no, it has nothing to do with that, winds up having to explain, and the other person stopped listening because they're convinced already that now you're against Trump and you're this and you're that, and so they don't want to listen. So I hope we answered the question. Mark, do you have anything else you want to add?
Gosh, no.
Alrighty. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, I will see Raymond again, as we were saying in an earlier episode. Come back in about 4 weeks about this question? Yeah. About 4 weeks?
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. All right. In about a month or so, we'll know more. So do you want to send us another email? In about a month, we'll find out more. We'll have a better answer for you. Thank you for your question. Very insightful. And we do hope we hear from you again. Thank you for spending some time with us on the Nova Society, and thank you to all our listeners. If you are not yet subscribed on the platform of your choice, please do so. Subscribing is free, and we look forward to having you spend some time with us again on the Nova Society.
The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We'd like to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing partners, Apple iTunes, the largest source of podcasts and music on the internet, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your source for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. We'd also like to thank all of our listeners. Without your support, the Nova Society would not be possible. If you have a question or comment, we can be reached at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So for Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Scott Gershwer, and all of our production partners here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power in society is knowledge. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next time. We'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, BH Conflict Resolution Services, a full-service dispute resolution firm offering expert, cost-effective mediation services to couples, groups, and businesses. BHCRS can be reached at www.bhcrs.com.